It's Q&A time. What's going on, guys? Forrest here, CycleMan09. I'm sitting down, got the light set up, got the camera set up, and it is Wednesday, which means that it's Q&A time. Welcome to our Q&A. I don't know what number this is. I think it's number 19. Q&A number 19. If you're new to my channel or this is a series of videos that you guys send me questions to my cycleman09@gmail.com email account. Should be right down there on the screen, as well as in the description below. You send me questions to that email account, and then I sit down in the fish room with the light shining brightly in my face and answer them the best way that I possibly can to hope share my knowledge with you guys a little bit, or do whatever the heck just happens to happen in the period of time between I press the record button to when the video's done. Question number 1 comes from Christina. Thank you for the question, Christina. When you fill your tanks, do you match the new water temperature to your tank temperature, or is it cooler/hotter than the tank water? Thanks. I can guarantee you that I try and never make my water hotter coming in than the tank water. That is something that I will probably never do. The tank water is either close to the tank temperature or colder. And that usually depends on how much water I change at a time. Lately, I've been doing more in the 30% range, and when I do that small of a water change, putting in cold water isn't going to affect my tank temperature too much. So usually what I do is I'll put in only cold water, because as you know, the hot water tanks can have some bad stuff in them. So the less warm water you use, the better. But if you have to do a large water change, 50, 60, 70%, which sometimes happens, I'm trying to avoid doing those recently because I've seen that it maybe stresses out my fish a little bit when I do a too large of a water change. But if the case happens where you have to do a large water change like that, matching your tank water to your incoming water is a big thing, because in a 30% water change, if you're taking a tank that's 80 degrees and you're putting in 70-degree water or 65-degree water, it's not going to drop that temperature too much. But in like a 50 to 60 to 75% water change, a water temperature difference that much can make a big impact on your aquarium, and a big, huge impact on your fish. Can drastically stress them out with a huge temperature drop of 10, 11, 12 degrees. I say, as a rule of thumb, any temperature fluctuation more than 5 degrees, you try and avoid. So if that requires you to add a little bit of warm water to your tank as you're filling it, then I suggest that, or change a little bit less water so that when you're using only cold water, it's not going to make your temperature drop too much, or whatever. But what I will say is you should never, ever, ever put in warmer water than your tank water. That's something that I never do. The less hot water you use coming out of that hot water tank, the better. But sometimes if you're doing a large water change, sometimes you got to match the temperature just a little bit. If anything, just a little bit slightly under your tank temperature. But that's basically what I'm doing. Currently what I'm doing, like I said, is about 30% changes on my tanks twice a week. And I'm using basically only cold water. It's the hot summertime right now, so my cold water coming out of the tap isn't 50 degrees like it would be in the winter. But like I said, that's what I'm doing right now, and it seems to be working really well, and I'm liking it a lot. Thanks for the question. This question is from Cody. Question number 2. Thanks for the question, Cody. Hey, Forrest, can you please help? Possibly. I'm about to undergo an aquarium build. A 250-gallon aquarium would be acceptable minimum for an umbee pair long term. He wants to know if a 250-gallon is an acceptable minimum for an umbee pair. Good question. Also, where can I buy them online, if anywhere? Thank you, Forrest. Love your channel. From Cody in Louisiana. I can answer your question where you can buy them. I actually sell umbees myself. I've got some real mags over there, but there's a ton of places you can go. Gage over at Cyclic Connection, where I got Azul and Blondie. Jeff Raps, of course, is always going to have fantastic stock. A bunch of places online you can go. There's a bunch of great hobbyists out there that are breeding umbees, so if you can find somebody locally that's breeding umbees, that's probably a good place to go. So, 250-gallon aquarium, is that an acceptable minimum for an umbee pair? In terms of gallonage, it sounds fantastic. It all really depends on your footprint, though. I don't want to say the word minimum for a tank size, because it's really the wrong way to look at it. Not saying that his question's the wrong way to ask, but the wrong way to look at an aquarium is, what's the smallest tank I can put this big fish into? That's usually how it comes off when you ask for the minimum tank size. But In this case, minimum tank size being 250 gallons, really all depends on your footprint. If your 250 gallon tank is 2 foot by 2 foot by 6 feet tall, then it's probably not going to be a very good tank for a pair of umbees because they need a lot of space to roam. My 225 with the Azul and Blondie is 8 foot long, 30 inches wide, and I consider that to be a great acceptable minimum for an umbee pair. It gives them plenty of space to turn around and go 8 foot long, 30 inches wide. For a fish that gets 24 inches long, you always want to have the tank wider than your fish is going to get in length. You don't want to have a 24-inch long fish in an 18-inch wide tank. It just doesn't make sense. It's not comfortable for the fish. So for Azul, who might reach 24 inches, he still has plenty of space to turn around in a 30-inch wide tank. I say anything between 6 foot by 3 foot to 8 foot by 30, anything under those boundaries is going to be a fantastic tank for an umbee pair. And like I said, there is a ton of awesome places, including a ton of awesome hobbyists like myself and others out there who are breeding umbees that are a great place to get umbees from, and you may not have to order online. There might be somebody down the street breeding umbees with a fantastic bloodline to get umbees from. But hopefully that answers your question, Cody. In the history of this series, we're going to end this video before we answer 20 questions. You guys asked some fantastic questions. 2 questions may not be very many, but I like to say quality over quantity. So, if you're new to my channel and you're not subscribed yet, there's a button somewhere, click it. If you like today's video, there's a thumbs up somewhere, click it. If you've got something to say, let me know down in the comments below. But most importantly, if you've got a question for a Q&A video in the future, because like I've said before, this is an every Wednesday series where you will see me every single Wednesday, let me know in my cichlidman09@gmail.com email account. Like I said, this is actually a short Q&A video, so appreciate it. Go spend the rest of your day doing whatever the heck you're doing. And not sure when our next video will be. It might be a vlog on Friday, but it's definitely going to at least be on Sunday for a fish room life hack. And I think that's about it we've got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have fun. I don't know what we're going to do next, but when we do it, it's going to happen. And when we're there, it's going to be a thing. And my piece of advice to you guys today, because I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, you better hit that like button. Hand transition out. What's going on, guys? Sportist here. Welcome to episode number 1 of Fish Room Life Hacks. This is going to be a series of quick videos of things I consider